What is up, everyone? My name is Mason. I'm with Jackson Gamber. This is episode 5, season 2 of the Sports Key podcast. We have a special guest today. I'll let Jack take it away.
Plays in the National League South. He's brand owner for Elite X. He's played for teams such as MK Dons, Exeter, and Crystal Palace. Hemel Hempstead goalkeeper Sam Carman.
Yeah, bitch so bad I wanna shoot like hoops while I'm riding in the coupe. I got what you want, it ain't nothing but a loop. Yeah. Don't listen to friends, they don't know what's best for you. I want you, shoot like hoops while I'm riding in the coupe. I got what you.
It's a pleasure to be here. Listen, I've watched some of your content, and I've been so inspired by all of your content. It's making me want to push further on as a footballer. But yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we're trying
Really
our best.
appreciate it.
We're trying our best, getting content a little bit better. We're new to it,
100%,
kind of, so
yeah.
just trying to get
Well,
better.
Well, it takes time. Look, you're working hard. That's all that matters. If you put in them hours, put in extra hours, it'll work out perfectly for you guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
your content's amazing.
Yeah, we like your content.
I scrolled through your page. I've rewatched the same video like 10, 15 times probably.
Well, funny story. I used to have an account that was a lot bigger than my account that I have now. It was probably on 13k followers. So I had a bigger audience. Anyway, I had to restart my account, so I'm just trying to build it back up. But it's going good. I'm just trying to put out little bits of content to help people. So yeah.
We're gonna start off with a few icebreakers. First one, if you could have a conversation with anyone dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Do you know what? I would say David Goggins.
Oh,
that's a good
okay.
one, dude. That's a good one.
I wasn't expecting that. I like that one.
Mainly because a lot of my content, as you can tell, is about mental health, and I preach a lot about mental health. And he's one of the guys that obviously looking up to him, hearing his motivation, hearing his podcast, everything that he's been on. It'll be so interesting to speak to him, see how his brain works. Because as you know, waking up early 4 a.m, going on runs, just trying to break that mental barrier. I want to be able to learn from him. So that'd be a great conversation with him. Yeah, exactly, 100%. I honestly don't know how he does it, but it inspires me some sort of way. So yeah, that'd be a great conversation.
Dude, that would be cool. I haven't thought about him, but that's a good
one. That's
yeah.
really.
Have you guys read his book yet?
No.
Oh no, not yet.
I'm not a big reader. I can't get through the words. I don't like reading.
Yeah, to be honest, I've only started reading it. So at the moment, it's cool. It's inspiring. It's definitely something that you guys should get onto.
So we have a couple more. So far throughout your career, what has been the most memorable moment for you?
Honestly, I could give you two, or I could give you one main one. It's up to you guys. Two. I'll give you
Whatever
two.
You want to do.
You can do two.
Yeah. So the first one would always be my debut. Obviously, making my professional debut versus Barnet as a 17-year-old. Obviously, not having too much experience, and the way that I grew up and the way that I worked hard every day to just get that pro debut, and making the pro debut in front of my whole family, all of my friends at home at Vauxhall Road, was some sort of experience. And honestly, if I could turn back the time, I would 100%. I'd pay any money to turn back the time. But the second one would definitely be my penalty save against St Albans.
That one.
So St Albans, I'll give you a bit of information. St Albans are actually Hemel's rivals, biggest rivals. So right. You guys might have rivalries in sports. In football, yeah. So St Albans are our biggest rivalries, and we had a penalty shootout. I came on for the last 15 minutes. We drew. We took it to penalties. Unfortunately, we lost the penalties, but being able to say that I saved a player's penalty that played in the Championship and League One with Stevenage and Wickham was definitely a great moment. And to top it off, to celebrate in front of the away fans. So they could give me some stick. So yeah, I love that. And honestly, I couldn't thank all of the players and the management staff, especially. They've been great with me, understanding me. So yeah, I can thank them guys a lot, and the support after the penalty save from not only just mates but other people through our TikTok, through our Instagram, just dropping me a message saying that they're inspired. I'm so thankful for it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Next one is, if you could go to any professional soccer match or football match in history, what match would you go to and why?
Oh, you know what? I don't really go to a lot of football matches, believe it or not. Like, I think because I'm a massive Man City supporter, it would have to be the Man City. It would have to be the Man City versus Man United derby. It's got to be.
That's a good one.
I've got a feeling of that. What about you guys? What would be a game that you guys would go to?
I'm a huge Arsenal fan.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
More recent, like I would definitely say that Bournemouth one. Just the comeback with the Reece Nelson goal.
Yeah.
Just to be there, the atmosphere, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. See, I'm not a big football fan, but
yeah,
I'm getting into it. I'm getting into it a little bit more, but honestly, from my recent memory, just the best match of all time that I've seen is definitely Argentina versus France.
Oh yeah, I didn't
seeing Messi's first World Cup like that. Yeah. That's just like a dream.
I don't know how I didn't think that.
Yeah, 100%. I remember watching that game, and I was on the edge of my seat, but that's got to be up there with one of the best games I've actually watched, to be honest. So
just amazing.
Back and forth,
yeah.
The best player in that match still by far was Mbappe. By far.
Oh, 100%. He was unreal. I think in the England versus France game, he was crazy. He was up there with Saka as well. I thought Saka played very good for us as well, but we were unfortunate there. So, but we always are every year. So
yeah,
it happens.
You guys got the Euros, I feel like.
You know what? We've got such a big talent. There's so many big names in our squad, but we still can't seem to win. It's just it's like we're cursed or something. I'm hoping we pull it back. So this year, hopefully. Awesome.
All right. What was it like going through teams and playing for teams such as MK Dons, Exeter, and Crystal Palace?
It was tough. In all honesty, it was really tough. Going through academy systems is mentally tough, physically tough. And when I first went to Crystal Palace, that was my first academy that I went to. And I remember I got picked up by one of the scouts at just playing grassroots football, and he spoke to me after the game. It made it even hard for me because I had parents that didn't understand too much about football, so I was kind of doing it off my own back. But I went to these trials, and it was tough playing with quality players. You had to reach that level. You had to put in extras every day, and not only just training your body, you got to train your mind as well. So going into that, and I was young, I was uneducated. I also found it quite hard to get to these places. Hence why I play for a local side, Hemel, at the moment. So I found myself in a situation where I would have to get there by train, as my parents didn't drive at the time, and we struggled with that part of it. But moving on to MK Dons and Exeter, Exeter was when I was 16, so I was a little bit older. I was a little bit more cautious about it. But it's tough because you're in Monday to Friday, game on Saturday, maybe you might have one Wednesday off. And so you'll be training, gym sessions, and you do analytics through other teams that you're playing on the weekend and training. So it's tough. You get a lot of free time after, but you have to be focused. You have to be disciplined, and that's just got to be your main focus, really, because when you're playing in a game with academy players, you see it now a lot often. Everyone kind of plays for themselves. So it's not really, sometimes it feels like a team environment, but a lot of players play for themselves as they want to get contracts. Yeah. So Exeter was a good experience. I remember I played against Oxford. This was my first like real big game. I was quite nervous, to be honest. We ended up losing 4-3, but I took the positives out of it and went home and with my chin up and thought, you know what, this is my first academy game. One of my first academy games. I played West Ham, Plymouth Argyle with Crystal Palace. But this was my first proper, like, I got out there 90 minutes. and yeah, I was happy. I took the positives out of it. I didn't actually get invited back. They wanted to sign me for a scholarship, but things just didn't fall into place. Whereas MK Dons, being around MK Dons, it was a bit different. So I was a lot older. I was 16, turning 17, and so even then I was struggling to get to the ground sometimes. But going into training, you meet new people, and honestly, I was happy that I went through these experiences, but I'm happy where I am right now. A lot of people ask me, would you go back into the academy system, or would you stay in the men's system? As I'm still 18, so I'm still quite young. I can go back into the academy system. I would always say to them, men's football is where it is for me. It feels like a family. The 3 points on a Saturday actually matter. On a Saturday playing for men's football, whereas academy, it's just like 3 points. Right, cool, go home, put the Xbox on, watch a bit of TV. But with men's football, it's just a different ball game. So, I mean, I'm not fully knocking academy system, because overall the academy players tend to be a lot fitter, sharper, well-rounded than people that do kind of part-time, as academy systems are full-time, especially when you end up leaving school. But yeah, it's a great kind of thing to get into. But my advice to other people would be, never feel like you need to play for an academy. There's always other options out there. It is a great feeling being able to represent an academy and say, look, I play for this. And it's definitely good to get on your rota as well. So when you speak to other people, you like agents or scouts or managers, you go, right, I played for MK Dons, I played for Exeter. So it's great to get on there. But yeah, that's it.
I like that. Yeah. So in a lot of your videos, and earlier you mentioned about reading. In a lot of your videos, you talk about reading and how valuable it is. Would you ever consider writing a book? Is that something you'd be interested in? Or is it more what you take from books that help you?
Yeah, I wouldn't knock it and say I wouldn't try it at all. But I'm more of a reader rather than a writer. I like to take in the information. Even just looking at a book, sometimes I it's just hard to concentrate. So I have to take in maybe 2, 3 pages, 2, 3, 4 pages, maybe even a chapter if I feel concentrated enough to read the book. But I don't know, maybe at some point. We'll have to see, to be honest.
Has there been ever a specific book that has inspired you the most that you can think about?
I'm actually reading Rich Man, Poor Man at the moment. No, it's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There we go. So it's about obviously self-explanatory. One rich dad, one poor dad, and the child. So it's just all about making money and different ways for businesses. And the knowledge in that book has helped me so much, because it doesn't teach you just about money. It teaches you the fact that sometimes you actually have to work for money, regardless. As people say, it's so easy to get money. Money's everywhere. Money's free, this and that. You've actually got to work, and it teaches you that you've got to let go of fear, and you've got to let go of any of that, and able to get money, and able to start something new. So yeah, that's taught me a lot, that book. At the moment, I'm not fully done. I'm about halfway through it, so still got a bit to go.
I like that. I need to get into reading. It's hard for me, but
besides that book, what other books do you suggest to read for the audience?
100% David Goggins book, 100%. And then at the moment, believe it or not, it's only my second book. So going through the David Goggins book is definitely something that I think people should buy and check out and read it, see how it is, because that has so many of his records and just everything from when he started, when he was 160 odd pounds, laying on his sofa, spraying for cockroaches. So it was just one of them jobs that just everyone could easily get into, and then going into a athlete, you could call him an athlete, going into marathons, pull-up records, you name it, he's done it, and changing your life like that. It's just all about your decision. That's it. So that's definitely a book that I would promote to other people as well.
Would you see David Goggins, or do you see David Goggins as sort of like a role model or like an inspiration?
Yes, most definitely, 100%. He's got me through some of my darkest times as an athlete. Obviously, I struggled a bit with my own mental health. That's why I preach about it a lot. Um, Obviously, I'm still quite young, but a lot of men don't speak about it. So,
Mhm.
and even for me, it's still hard for me to speak to people about it, and it's hard for me to speak to my mates about it, and they're usually the people that I can open up to. So it is hard. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know we do have some questions about mental health. If you don't want to dive too deep into it, we don't have to, but
No, I'm more than happy to speak to you guys and speak on the podcast about it. Obviously you dropped me the message about mental health. And yes, that is a big key thing on my TikTok and my Instagram. So yeah, so I started off. It was more recent playing into men's football. So I was going into men's football as a 16-year-old. So I signed my contract with Hemel at 16. Um, and going into men's football, it was a different environment because you see it now. You see it nowadays. The men are quite tough. They tell you and demand you and tell you what to do. You get pushed around a little bit as a 16-year-old, and I didn't know what to expect. I thought it would just be, I'd walk in, and then it would all just be easy. I'd get away with little mistakes on the pitch, but it started to affect my mental health, and that's where I knew I needed to change it. So what used to happen was I used to hide away from training. I used to lay in bed and close my curtains and just not want to train. I didn't want to speak to anyone. I didn't want to train, and people would think they're all right, that I'm all right. But until you actually check up on someone and really find out how they feel, that's when you get to know information. But I used to skip training a lot because I just couldn't be there, because I knew I was worried about mistakes. I was fearing mistakes, but one thing that, like I said, David Goggins has taught me is that you never know what's behind fear. Sometimes there's a surprise behind fear, and if you keep fearing the rest of your life, it's not going to get you anywhere. So sometimes you just got to break that barrier and walk through it, and then who knows, on the other side there might be greatness. And that's one quote that I stood by. I've got it written on a post-it note every morning, so I make sure I get out of bed and do what I need to do. But besides that, it was just mental health from football and things going on at home as well. So it was just a load of family things, and they were mixing together. And one of the proudest things that I've done of 2023, for instance, was to get over that mental health barrier and go into training, get things done, and deal with business. That's legit.
I like that answer.
Yeah. At such a Mason.
No, you're good.
At such a young age, like playing professional, like
Yeah.
as like a soccer player myself or football player myself, I can definitely like I can see that as a motivation, like your story. And it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I just hope that my TikTok and everything that I promote really helps other people. I know I get a lot of messages from other athletes saying that they struggle with injuries, things such as injuries, family issues, the kind of the same things that I've gone through. So it's easy. It's nice for me to speak to them and basically help them with the mental health side. As a lot of people have messaged, and they look at the TikToks and they're inspired. And yeah, I just want all the athletes to keep going. Really, just everyone that's in the following to keep going. Not to worry about fear. Not to worry about mistakes that you make, because you do make mistakes, and we're all human, so they happen.
Is going through your own mental struggles what kind of inspired you to post about it and try to help other people through it?
Yes, most definitely. Well, as you have seen, I've got my own website, and there's programs on there. One of them's mental advice and support. If you scroll down, you'd see it. But I specifically made that for other athletes, and there's just techniques, ways, because you can get around it. But what I felt was that there was no option unless to just stay in bed and not talk to anyone. But you've just got to get up and put one foot in front of the other. One tip that I'd help people for that struggle with mental health is, believe it or not, ice baths. Believe it or not, it's ice baths. If you can go in an ice bath for 5 minutes, go in a situation where you don't want to be in for 5 minutes, because no one wants to be in an ice bath. They would want to be in a they want to be in a hot bath with bubbles in there. Yeah. No one wants to be in a cold bath with ice, and no one wants to be in there for 5 minutes. So put yourself in that situation and deal with it, and deal with it again the next day, deal with it the next day, deal with it till Monday to Saturday, Monday to Sunday. And if you could do that, then you could put one foot in front of the other, go out the door, train, and make mistakes, and run through fear. So that's one bit of advice.
So going into your website, what inspired you to open up your own website and start your own brand in a way?
So as an athlete myself, I struggled a lot with training methods in the gym. So a lot of the website is about training. There's upper body plans, lower body plans, and I struggled. I really did struggle. So I had to search into it. Also speak to mates, speak to PTs. I actually studied a course about it, and I'm qualified in it now. And so it was to help other athletes that were struggling as well, because like I said, I get a lot of messages of people struggling with gym, which is totally normal. A lot of people are quite scared to go into a new gym, a new environment, because sometimes they may feel like people are just staring at them and they think they're not doing the right thing, when there never is the right thing to do in the gym. You can do anything you want as long as you know it's benefiting you. So I made these plans for other athletes, so they could go on there, and I'm helping them, supporting them. I've got a group chat set up for all the athletes. It's kind of like a help point where if they need help with sets or a little bit of motivation, they could pop a message in the chat and they could see it, and we'll reply and help them out. So yeah, it's just all for their support. That's it.
I think it's amazing how, like, at such a young age for you, you're 18, one of your biggest things is trying to inspire people and help other people.
100%.
A lot of kids at 18, 19, even 20, and a little bit older than that, care so much about themselves. So you going out and caring about other people, it speaks volumes about your character, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, I've always been like that, to be honest. My work ethic, I've always wanted to do something with my life. Whether it was to be a footballer, to be a business owner, I just wanted to do something that could get me out there, that I could help other people. And like I said, if you never start, you'll never get anywhere with it. So I've started it, and it's growing, and it's still growing, and I'm helping tons of athletes, tons of people, a load of people on the program. I'm speaking to people every day about the program, and they're enjoying themselves. They're getting results. They're seeing results in their body, which is mentally making them feel better. So it's making me feel good. So I'm happy with them.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Since you're under a lot of pressure, being really young, playing at a high level, and you're also balancing the brand, and you're very busy. What do you do to, like, off the field and outside of like your business to relieve pressure?
One easy one to say is to just be around your mates. I'll be honest, there's nothing better than sitting around the table with your mates and having a laugh. It relieves a lot of pressure for me, because it makes me feel normal again. When I step out on the pitch, I feel like I feel like a professional. I feel like this is my job, and this isn't me. When I go back home, that's me, just relaxing. I can be myself. I can speak to my brother, speak to my mum, dad, my mates. But when I'm on the pitch, you have to act a certain way, because you have to be as professional as you can. So going home, and obviously being around your mates, speaking to your mates, just forgetting about football for the moment, not even needing to talk about it, just talk about normal things in life. That really helps me a lot. And I even now, I feel the pressure when I step out on the football pitch, because there's a lot of competition in every way. So I'm always trying to gain that extra 1%. But I know sometimes I've got to take days off where I go, right, I'll go and have some fun, and just get an activity done, speak with my mates, yeah, that relieves a bunch of pressure.
And how much time are you able to do stuff like that with, I'm sure you're balancing a lot, busy schedule.
So if I get my training done early enough in the morning, which sometimes I like to leave it till the afternoon, it gives me the rest of the day. As long as I can get up every day and get my 2 training sessions done, my gym session, my football session, and recovery done, then I have the rest of the day to just relieve a bit of pressure, go and have some fun. A lot of the time, like a Sunday would be a complete rest day for me. So I would go and just speak with my mates, have a bit of fun, maybe go out and do an activity. I'm really into we're really into golf, me and my friendship group. So that's something that's something that we like to go out and do. Even to be honest, bowling has been a key one for us recently. I've been trying to beat them with my technique. They're always saying that because I'm a goalkeeper, I always win with the underarm throw. But I can tell you now, I'm awful at bowling. But it's a bit of fun, so it releases a bit of pressure, it makes me smile.
I mean, on the golf course, I feel like I might have the edge on you there.
Yeah.
I mean,
are you good at golf?
I golfed in high school, but I'm not great. Better than most people, though. What do you shoot?
I don't even know what I shoot. It's just a bit of a top golf. So basically,
that's amazing. I love
target. Yeah. So it's just swinging the ball. I'm dreadful, but it's great fun. So, as long as it's great fun, I'm enjoying myself. So I'm fine with it.
I love seeing videos of like other athletes, like of other sports, go out and try to play golf. It's either swings either amazing or it's like completely awful.
It actually like blows my mind how good athletes are. Like if footballers, for example, Gareth Bale, they could just go to a golf course and they'll be great at every sport. Like a lot of the footballers at the people that I play with go to golf after football and they just enjoy themselves. And I mean, I don't know how many hours they're putting in. I don't know if they're a golf player or a football player, but they can do both of this. They can do both at the same time. So it's just crazy. But listen, I will never go out to a golf course and try because that's just golf's not for me. I enjoy a bit of top golf, smacking the ball and seeing how far it goes, even though it probably just goes down to the little red thing. But yeah,
no, that's great.
I'm smiling.
Like some athletes are just anything. They could do absolutely any sport and just kill it. It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
So who was your idol, footballing idol growing up, and why?
So I grew up obviously a Man City supporter, and one of the main idols is Joe Hart. I don't know if you guys know a little bit about him. I think he's come to I think he played for Toronto, didn't he? Man City, Toronto, and then went back to Celtic, I believe, and West Ham. So I was only really following him when he was at Man City. Obviously watching his first game, it's just his athleticism, his strength, power, all of that just reminded me of myself. Like as a kid, I thought I was obviously Joe Hart, so just trying to be like him. So yeah, even to this day, I still think he's unreal, and that his standards are where I want my standards to be. If you watch him, obviously he got sent to a different club from Man City because of his ability to play from the back, which is very understandable. But I always look at him and think like his shot stopping is got to be one of the greatest of all time. For me, it's got to be one of the greatest of all time. So yeah, I think he's one of my idols. But also I would say a little bit of, as of recent to my older years, is, believe it or not, my GK coach, my goalkeeper coach at Hemel. He used to play for Chelsea. His name's Dimitri Karim. Recently, as of recent, the way that he's trained us, and I've obviously seen highlights and everything of him, I've really looked up to him, and I thought, yeah, he's an idol to me. Like he's a real character. He's taught me so many things that I couldn't even teach myself. Like there's so many details that he gets hold of, and just Just correct. Everything has to be perfect. So, and that's what I need as obviously playing a goal. We just got to be perfect. And like some people say, oh, you can't be perfect, but when you play in goal, things have to be perfect. Things have to be perfect. And for me, perfection needs to be there, whether it's in training or in a game. So yeah, them two are definitely my idols.
So feeding off of that, our last episode, we had another goalkeeper on. They said that the goalkeeper position is the hardest in sports. You saying that you have to be perfect. Do you 100% agree?
100%. Yeah, 100%. I would argue with that. Yes. I can tell you why. There's many reasons. There's mentally, it's tough. I wouldn't say too much physically because you get a lot of the players running around and you're just standing there, especially if you don't have a lot to do. Some games you might not even face a shot. But mentally it's so tough because if you make a mistake from playing out from the back, or maybe players think that you should have saved one of the shots, that can mentally dwell on you. Obviously making mistakes myself, I've made mistakes in big games and mentally it just takes you out for the rest of the game. So I'd say mentally it's the toughest position, but physically it's not. Physically, I'd say midfield.
Very similar to golf in a way. Like they say golf is one of the hardest mental sports because physically anyone can go out there and swing a golf club, but mentally if you make 100%. One bad shot, you go down through two strokes to a player. It's hard to come back from that.
Exactly.
Mental sports sometimes can be the hardest on people.
Yeah. Well, what I used to find out is within myself, whenever I'd make a mistake, I'd just dwell on it for too long, and most of my performance would just go down. So it's just managing it and trying to forget about the mistakes. Because I know when you make mistakes, I know a lot of the fans get on your back. I've had it quite a lot, and they chant things, and it's you just got to kind of enjoy it and suck it up and just get on with your game. Just that was in the past, move on. 10-second memory, be like a goldfish. Forget about it. Yeah.
So you were talking about how you have the Post-it note. Is there something that like an inspiration to you that you got to write on a Post-it note every day and see it?
Yes. It was more reading these books, just thinking, obviously wake up, and I was studying, say for instance, David Goggins. I was studying what he did with his mental health, and being able to write stuff down and seeing it every day is something that's obviously going to motivate you. When I see you just get up, I've got 1% better each day on my wall as well. So seeing that, waking up, seeing that, it just gets me out of the door, gets my head out the door. So from reading these books, I do listen to a bit of Andrew Tate as well on the other side, just for business advice and trying to get up, because he's quite harsh when he talks about motivation, which is sometimes what you need, because that will get through to you. I always look at the Post-it notes when I go through certain situations, or I know that I've got a big game or a big day. I always look at the Post-it note, and it will replay in my mind. So even for instance, when I'm in the gym, 1% better each day to me means that rather than stopping at 13 minutes on a treadmill, when I've got 15 minutes to do, I'll stop off at 15 minutes, because mentally, me coming off at 13 minutes is going to play with my mind. So I've got to be 1% better each day. So I just remind myself every time. But it was mainly from the books and David Goggins that made me write out Post-it notes, put them out, and let myself know, because he had something called a mirror. It was like a mirror that he would go up to, and he would just say everything that was the truth, because he used to do a lot of lying, which he said, and he would write out Post-it notes of the truth, so of how overweight he was, how he was struggling, and that's what I felt like I needed to do. And I just put motivational stuff, targets, and every morning I look at them, read at them, and then go out and get my head out the door. Yeah.
So you mentioned your goalkeeping coach, and that he used to play for Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
How does having someone who played at such a high level like motivate you and like up their standard?
Well, being with my GK coach, he's taught me a lot, to be honest. And some of the stories that he's spoke to me about, such as playing at Wembley, um, and he conceded a goal, because I didn't specifically actually hear this from him, but I heard it from another, because we have two kind of GK coaches. But it made me really think. He let in 2 penalties against. Do you know a player called Eric Cantona?
Yeah.
He's a like one of the old school legends. Anyway, he let in 2 penalties against Eric Cantona at Wembley. So
wow.
It's just if he can go through that, then my penalty that I've just conceded might not mean too much, and I can look at him and think, right, the way that he's handled it is to just get on with it, and that's exactly how I should handle it. But the thing for me was having him there, training me every Tuesday, Thursday, always pushing me, always checking how I am, and even in training, he's quite harsh, but that gets to me and it makes me push on because I want to impress him, and trying to impress him is quite hard. So it makes me want to try and do even more. But also he has high expectations, which is what I need in a GK coach. But I've seen a lot of his highlights from back when he used to play. And for instance, I was on a coach to an away game, and believe it or not, his highlights actually came up on the screen, and we didn't know until someone told me. Someone shouted out, one of the other GKs on the team. So just watching that was just unreal, because I see a little bit of myself in him, and it's just more towards the desire to save in football. Like, he spoke to me about him feeling a certain way about saving a ball, saving shots. You got to have some sort of anger and desire to save a ball, and that's exactly how I felt. And so just different techniques that I've been picking up from him and that he's been helping me with. But yeah, he's been unreal. And that was one of my main attractions when I first joined Hemel, was the GK department. So yeah.
Do you see like mistakes and maybe say you concede a goal? Do you see it more as like a learning curve, or do you sometimes maybe like dwell on it too much?
There's definitely a part where I dwell on it too much, because everyone makes mistakes, and even in games, it's just like if I dwell on it too much, then it starts to overtake my mind, and then I start getting into the habit of not wanting to go and play a game again or try new things. Because when you make a mistake, say for instance I made a mistake by letting the ball in the goal, then I dwell on it too much, I won't want to get into that situation again. So you've kind of just got to let it go. Obviously, no one purposely wants to let in the goals, like letting a goal. So we obviously try our best to get the ball out of the net. And yes, we make mistakes, but dwelling on it never helps. Dwelling on it really never helps. If anything, it makes it worse, because when you get into that same scenario in a football match again, say for instance, the players cross the ball in and it's just gone straight through your hands. Say for instance, they get into that scenario again, then that's when you start to dwell on it. And I've had that myself, and it never helps, because the same situation ends up happening again and again. So you've just got to kind of learn to let it go, let it be, and it was what it was, and then move on. Yeah.
So how old were you when you became a goalkeeper, and when you started playing football as a whole?
I was quite young, so I was about 5 years old. I started in my garden with my 2 older brothers. My 2 older brothers have no interest in football anymore, which is it just surprises me, because they're the people that actually got me into it. So I used to use my brother's boots, used to use my brother's gloves, and I'd be stuck in the goal because I was the youngest. So that's just how it is. I was the smallest, and I was the little brother, so you got to go in the net whilst we smash balls at you. So yeah, I started off quite young, playing around our little neighborhood, And then I started to get into it. I don't think I joined a team till year 6. So, and even then I was still too young, but I was playing school football and I could see a little bit of potential, and I was just seeing it as like a way to, you know, keep myself happy. But at the time, my head teacher had a little bit of faith in me, and he put me in the year above their team. So I was in year 5, and they put me in the year 6 team. And that's when I thought, right, I've actually got a little bit of something here. So I ended up joining a grassroots team, which was called Hemel at the time. And then I ended up moving to a club called FC Hemel, which was just another grassroots team, playing with my schoolmates, just enjoying myself. Because I feel like at a certain age, especially around the 13, well, I would say 10 to 12, plus even, you should just be enjoying your football. You shouldn't have to worry about, you know, scouts, agents, fans, or like everything. You should just enjoy it. Go out there, enjoy yourself. Which I felt like I failed to do sometimes. I was quite worried about how much time I had left as a footballer. I was probably about 13, and I thought I was seeing these people get debuts at 16, and even now, like at Barcelona, for instance, they have a 16-year-old that's doing unreal. And even now, sometimes it still gets to my head. I still think my time's over. And back then, I was dwelling on that too much. But yeah, that's something that you shouldn't do. And then I ended up going into it was kind of like county, district. It was a bit of a mixture. So that's when I thought, right, I've got a real shot at this. And then yeah, I moved on to academy systems and football.
I like that. Yeah. Good little journey.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's definitely, Hemel was definitely not the first team that I made my men's debut for. I made it quite earlier, to be honest. Yeah, a lot of people, especially at the club, didn't know that. To be honest, they didn't really know my history because I was coming through the academy system as just a youngster. I was asked if I wanted to come to training as a 16-year-old, going into a warm up with the first team, which was away versus Slough. That was an unreal experience, warming up in front of fans. That was definitely a way to ease myself in. But right now I'm just fighting for my spot and just training. Yeah.
What advice do you give to like young athletes like yourself trying to make it to the next step?
My advice to young athletes is to connect as much as you can. Connect to any other athletes, any other players, managers, scouts, academies. What I used to do is email clubs and just get my name out there. That's if you really want to make it into the semi-professional, professional part of football, or even just any sport in general. Emailing and putting yourself out there, maybe a little highlight reel out to other clubs so they can see your ability. That's one piece of advice. Another piece of advice is to always put in extras at whether you're at the club or whether you've got a day off. I know a lot of athletes, they get complacent once they've received their opportunity. You're not going to get anywhere in football if you just sit and be complacent. You've got to keep working. There's someone that's got your shirt. Go get that off them, regardless of whether that's Sunday league football or whether that's semi-professional, amateur, or professional. You've got to go get your shirt back, and you've got to go get minutes. So leading on to my third piece of advice is play as many games as you can. You can train and you can sharpen up your tools as much as you want, as much as you can. But there's nothing like playing 90 minutes on a Saturday or a Sunday. There is nothing like it, because that's where the real test is. And if for any footballers that are not getting too much game time and they're just training, play some games, go out and enjoy yourself. So yeah, that would be three pieces of advice to other athletes, just in general. I wouldn't even just say football, but just in general.
Yeah, I'll definitely take that young athlete trying to, playing professional soccer is definitely my dream. So yeah, I'll definitely take that advice. That's really
100%. I would also say play at a certain age. So there's kind of like age gap. So you go from under 13s football, which is quite young. You shouldn't be worrying too much about that. Then you start to get onto your later days where it goes 16, 17, 18 football. As I'm sure you're coming up to. Are you coming up to 18 football?
16.
16. So yeah, so you're coming up to 16 football. When you get to the 17, 18 slot, start to look from. Would you play in just a Sunday league team with people the same age, or is it?
So I'm just playing at like a club team with like people the same age. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So as you start to get a little bit older, it's a big step. But for me, this is how I improved my game a lot. Was to go play with experienced men footballers, because there's a lot of them in lower leagues because they drop down from professional to semi-professional, low-end semi-professional. I'm playing with guys that have played in the Euros with Gareth Bale. I'm playing with an ex-Luton goalkeeper. Who else? I'm sure you guys know someone called Montel McKenzie from Love Island. Do you guys watch Love Island?
No.
Did you watch Love Island? A lot of people know who he is, but there's players like him, and even he has a different story. I'm playing with guys that I played with Aubameyang, Lacazette, for Arsenal, and he was one of the top youngsters at the time. And basically going from that 16s, 17s, 18s football to go play with men, because you can do it by connecting. Like a bit of advice would be to play with men, because you learn so much from them. You're playing with harder opponents. Mentally, it toughens you up as well. So it's just overall, it's a lot better rather than going into. I'm not saying leave 18s football, but right now for what I do is I play men's football and I also play 18s football. So when you finish, when you're at men's football doing training, say for instance you're training, you go into 18s football. It's like a breeze for you. You feel like, oh, this is nothing in a way. Shots are completely different. Yeah. So for instance, for me, the shot stopping for men's football is a lot harder than 18s football.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go into an 18s game, I'm saving everything. Like in a non kind of cocky way, I'm saving everything. So people that are watching, such as scouts and agents, they're looking at, say for instance me, going, oh wow, he can really save everything. He's ticking all the boxes, and that's because you're getting that experience from men's football and you're bringing it into a different age group, a completely different age group. So yeah.
So we mentioned at the beginning, what was your most memorable moment? What is your most memorable overall performance, and what lessons did you take from it?
My overall, like my memorable overall performance has got to be the game against Brighton. I only because I got a lot more minutes against Brighton than I did the other two teams. So therefore, I got to get on the ball a lot more. I got to save some more shots. So throughout the Brighton game, I'm not too sure if you guys have seen that one as well, the penalty save that I made in the last minute. So they brought me on, and I thought I played very well, very comfortable. I was quite nervous before coming out on the pitch. I thought I had a lot of weight on my shoulders. I had a lot to carry, because at this time I was fighting for a spot. I was fighting for number 2 spot. I'm still quite young. So even now I'm still fighting for as much game time as I can. I've only made 5 appearances for National League side Hemel. So for me, I'm just taking it as any game that I can get. But going back to the Brighton game, I thought I was ticking all the boxes. I was very happy. I was playing with a smile on my face, and when you play with a smile on your face, that's when you play your best game. I was trying to get into the game in the first 5 minutes, because if you get on the ball and get as many touches as you can, in the first 5 minutes, your performance skyrockets, and you can actually see that throughout a lot of the games that you'll play. Is if you build that confidence up in the first five, your performance skyrockets. So yeah, that taught me a lesson as well towards the end of the game. That introduced me to the fans, a warm welcome to the fans. That I'm not just some academy goalkeeper. I'm here, and I'm here to take someone's spot. Respectfully, I'm here to take someone's spot, and I'm here to play for the club and play for where I'm based and my town. But after that penalty save and after that performance, I got a lot of messages from clubs, from fans, from people on TikTok, Instagram, and I got a lot of praise for it, and it got my name out there. So that was something I was very happy with. I know I spoke to my agent, and he said that Brighton were really impressed with my performance, and other clubs that were watching were very impressed with my performance. So that made my confidence grow and grow. I would say recently it's been a little bit more tough playing men's football because I'm not getting as many opportunities as I would like. But I'm never going to put my gloves down. I'm never going to stop working. I'm always going to keep them gloves up, regardless of what happens. You can take me out of the squad. You can do whatever you need to do. You keep me out of the team. I'll never stop working. That's just how my work ethic will be, and it will be till I finish with playing football. Yeah.
You were talking about how you're still fighting for game time, trying to get as much as possible. What's your goal for the rest of this season, next season? And then with all of with everything you're in, content creation, your little side business, and being a footballer for the next 10 years.
Yeah. So my goal this season is to sign my professional contract. I've actually got it written down on my wall, for instance, as well. One of the targets. So that's on there. I really want to get a couple league games under my belt. Maybe 5 or 6 league games under my belt, just to get a real feel of what it feels like. Because I've played cup games, so it's been a bit different. And then just getting my name out there even more. And then for my business side, it's got to be just get a wider audience, have a wider audience, let more people know about the business. Because at the moment it's just up and coming. So I want as many athletes to know about this plan that's out for them. And I'm always happy to give people advice. If they just drop me a message, I'm more than happy to talk to people. I know a lot of people don't have time for other like fans or athletes that want to know information, but I'm more than happy to speak to people. There's a group chat set up, and it can help them. So yeah, that's got to be my 2 goals for football, which was the signing my professional debut and getting 5 or 6 more appearances. And then for my business side, just get a wider audience, just gain a wider audience, let more people know. They're my targets for this year, to be honest. And for the next 10 years or so, ideally I want to be playing in League 2, League 1 in about 10 years. Realistically, that's where I want to be playing. I would love to play in the Premier League, but realistically, right now I'd be happy to play in League 1 and League 2, only because what set it off a lot was the fact that as of recent, Hemel 18s actually got to play Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Youth Cup. I'm sure you guys might have seen that on my Instagram. So Hemel step 2, and Sheffield are, I believe, they're League 1, if not Championship. Their Championship. So that's near enough 3+ steps. So that we're quite low down compared to them. They have a massive stadium. We have a decent stadium, decent fans. They have hundreds of thousands of fans, and that really set me off. And I was walking around the ground before the game started, and I was really taking in the atmosphere and thinking, this is where I want to be when I'm this age. And like it was almost like emotional to me, because It was to the point where I screenshotted the ground and put it as my home screen, so I could see that every single day, and wake up and think, right, this is my goal. I need to work to get there. But yeah, and playing with Sheffield Wednesday players was a great experience as well. Being around the ground, being around the management staff, their management staff. Yeah, it was a proper setup. So that's definitely somewhere that I want to be when I'm older.
Speaking of the atmosphere, compared to the atmosphere at Hemel games, and how is that atmosphere at Hemel games in general?
The difference would be it's a lot louder because of the echo. Don't get me wrong, Hemel fans are amazing. They've welcomed me since the day I put the shirt on. But there's obviously a bit of difference because there's a lot more fans at Sheffield, and there's a lot more fans in League One and Two. You get a lot more stick, you get a lot more support, but nothing compares to my hometown supporting me. So as soon as I put the Hemel shirt on, the love that I got from the fans, they even have a chant for me. So
how's it go?
It's Super Sam Carman in goal.
Oh, nice.
You guys have heard that one, yeah. So that's been unreal. Especially growing up as a kid that wanted to make a professional and make his professional debut, and dreaming every night about his professional debut, and being obsessed with football. And even some people said that I would never do it. Some people said I'd never do it. And I did it. And to do it in front of the Hemel fans, they were awesome. The messages I got, the love, the support, I couldn't thank them enough. And I would never let go of that experience or moment. And I'd never replace it with anything, unfortunately. So no matter how high it is, I'll always say Hemel fans are the best fans in all of football. So
yeah, dude, that's so cool. So at the beginning, you mentioned that you're a fan of Man City.
Yeah.
Now that you're playing for like a professional team, how has your love for Man City like sort of faded, or is it like still there, and like do you still actively like support them?
I would say my love for Man City has faded. Yes. I don't really keep up with the fixtures anymore. I don't really keep up with it too much. When they're playing, I obviously watch on TV. I still check the scores every now and then, but I'm a little bit too focused on just performing and how my performance is going at Hemel. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a big supporter of Man City, but my love for them has definitely faded since I started playing more and more football. I just haven't had the time to connect back with Man City. So yeah.
So right now you have a lot going on. I mentioned it a lot, sorry. Going to be professional, that schedule can only get busier. Is that something you're like, or like going up in the ranks, your schedule can only get busier? Is that something that you're thinking about or like planning ahead for?
Yes. Right now, I'm training every single day of my life. So if I'm being honest, it would make no difference to me. I'm trying to gain that extra 1% by fitting in as much training as I can. So just in the future, having more plans, having more training sessions or gym sessions or whatever, I'd be happy for that. As many sessions as I can fit in a day, I will try. Maybe before a match day, maybe not. But throughout the week, I'm obsessed with training. I train every single hour, every single minute of my life, and something is always training. Whether it's doing 10, 15 minutes on the treadmill, a full upper body session. Even some days where I don't want to, like a Sunday, even some days where I don't need to do a session because it's my rest day. I'll go right. I'll do 5 minutes, and then it ends up getting to 10 minutes, and I'm doing 15 minutes. So I'm always busy with my schedule. So for me, it would be normal for me, if anything. It wouldn't really make too much of a difference. I like my schedule to be busy because then I know that I can rest because normally when I haven't had a productive day, I can't sleep, I can't rest and enjoy it. When I've had a productive day, got training done, got everything done, I could sleep knowing that I deserve my sleep. So it's just all about work ethic. I've just built it up from having mental struggles to, now where I'm just trying to train every day and get the mind working and making it stronger. Yeah.
Nice.
So you talked about how you had a TikTok page before and you had a lot more followers there.
Yeah.
Well, after you had to get rid of that page or lost that page, was it did it hurt or did it motivate you to make a new page?
At first it hurt. It hurt a lot. It really did hurt a lot because it was years of progress and videos and time that was put into that page. But I kind of just took a break from it all. I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna try it. And then I remember seeing one of my old TikToks come up on my For You page on my new one, and I thought, and I was looking through the comments, and I thought I need to just get back on this. There's people that are missing stuff. They're missing information because everyone has different opinions, different information. You can always top up information. So whatever knowledge that you guys know, I may not know it. Or I might know it and I might have extra to say about it that could help people. So for instance, with the TikTok, I just started it up and I stopped after about a month because I wasn't seeing the results. And then that's when I thought, right, I'm just going to get on it, post as much as I can, try hit the hashtags so people can see the TikToks, such as you guys coming up on your For You page. That's put a massive smile on my face that you guys have seen it because now I know that it's reaching people and it's helping people. So I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that, and I'm going to keep on working, keep on giving as much information out to young athletes and to older athletes as I can. Yeah.
It came up on our podcast account, and then Jack messaged you, and then within like 5 or 10 minutes of him texting me, you popped up on my For You page on my personal account. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I was like, I like this guy.
Do you know what videos came up? Do you know?
I saw from my For You page, I saw a lot of the mental health videos. Yeah. I know when I was on the podcast account, I saw the video of your 2 penalty saves.
Okay. So, wow. Yeah. I'm happy with that because that's one video I really wanted out there. Yeah, because it just that penalty save after saving the penalty, especially the St Albans one, like a lot of my emotions came back after that game, just struggling a lot with getting to football games. Another thing was when I was a lot younger, I couldn't actually afford my own goalie gloves or my own kit and my own boots. So I had a great friend that is now my business partner as well. Nice. So big shout out to him. He's been there since day one, literally day one. So his family used to pay for a lot of my stuff, like my goalie gloves. And just going through that and going through all the struggles with, for instance, my parents also split up at quite a late age. So I was 17 when they split up, so very recent. I'd passing away in the family and just going through all of that and coming out on top and doing something that I really wanted to achieve, such as saving a penalty against a rival club. It just all came back to me, and I got emotional after the game. I really did get emotional, but it was a sense of relief. It was a sense of relief that I went through all of this, and I carried. I walked through it with my head held high. And yeah, I carried my name on my own shirt, on the back of my shirt. So at the moment, I'm just trying to keep that Carman surname out there and have purpose to that Carman surname. Obviously, I'm part Filipino as well, so I'm trying to do it for not just my Carman surname, but Filipinos out there, the Filipino nations. Just another thing on obviously not being able to go to games. As of recent, I actually got England schoolboy trials. So it's England trials. Nice. But I had to turn them down because of travel. So it's just things you have to, sometimes you could get into a situation like I got into and it could hurt. It really does hurt. Like I remember sitting in my bathroom and I thought it really stings to the fact that I can't go. But you've just got to clear it and keep moving, keep going ahead, put one foot in front of the other and keep moving. Yeah.
Your drive is amazing because, like, especially you were talking. Sometimes as an athlete, the sport you're playing can cause your mental distress. On top 100%. Of everything you're going through with family, and still being able to push through that and get through the adversity is amazing.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's taken a lot of time working on my mental health. But I got into mental health and just trying to improve it a lot from early. I remember I made my men's debut. I was with Enfield Borough. That was my first men's debut, which was at 16 years old. So I was playing with grown men at 16, and that's when it started to set off a little bit there. That's when I identified it and just started working on it, and then I kind of left it for a while, and it came back when I was at Hemel. So yeah, just working on it every day and trying to train every day. Just forget about the mistakes, forget about the past, and just keep moving forward.
Yeah, nice. We don't have too much left, but I'm going to ask one selfish question real quick. Okay. What is your opinion on the Man City 115 breaches of FFP, and what do you see happening with
them? I feel Man City are paying someone off. I really think Man City are paying someone off. There's something in the background that's not right. And I'm seeing it all over Instagram, and I'm trying to ignore it because I keep getting tagged in it from my mates. And listen, I hope we don't go down because I've heard we'll get relegated.
Yeah.
So listen, they've got to sort something out back there. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to support Hemel Town, and that's gonna be the only team that I support. Or maybe even Arsenal, like you guys. So we'll have to see. But yeah, I hope they sort it out. But something's fishy going on back there. So
I doubt they'll be relegated. They're too much. They're too much of a moneymaker for them to relegate them.
I would love to see it. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah,
see it.
To be honest, I would love to see it as well. I would love to see it as well. As much as I support them, listen, it's going to happen, and they're one of the biggest teams in the whole of UK or the whole of. I'd say the whole of the world at the moment because they won the Champions League. So to see it happen would be some history. It would be some sort of history there. So yeah.
I mean, if it does happen, it's more just to like show the rest of the teams like, all right, you can't do this.
Yeah.
There are going to be consequences, but realistically, I don't see it happening. They make the league way too much money off of viewership.
Yeah.
They're not going down.
Yeah. That's why I think they'll figure it out, but there's got to be something going on in the background. They're paying someone off. Okay.
Do you have any final thoughts that you want to get across to anybody?
Just one piece of advice for anyone that's watching, or even for you guys, is if you are struggling or with mental health, or you are trying to reach the top level as an athlete or as a footballer, or you're trying to create a business and trying to make it professional, like I've been trying to do, and some I've completed and some, I've failed. It's to just keep working. It's as simple as that. It's keep working. Never let your head go down. Just keep working, because the minute that you let your head go down, your competition is going to overtake you, and you've got to see it as competition. You've got to see, even you guys right now, you guys have a fantastic podcast, but there's competition between you guys, because I could name a little bit of competition right now is who is better at doing a podcast. So there's always competition with someone. So you've kind of got to lift your head up, smile, and think, right, there's people that are trying to steal my position. There's people that are better than me, and you've just got to keep going. You got to keep going. And if obviously people run into any problems, I'm more than happy to speak to people about mental health. help people with advice with football and my journey as a footballer, starting from a young age, going into academies like you guys have said, growing up, going into Hemel Town, signing two contracts when I was 17, one when I was 16, making pro debuts, having a lot of sales in my business, having a lot of people that I speak to. So yeah, you just got to keep moving. You got to keep doing your thing. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, love it, dude.
You've been amazing. We really appreciate you coming on. So
absolutely, no worries. Anytime.
It's a little late for you, so you probably gotta get ready for some rest.
Yeah, got training early in the morning tomorrow. Back to usual Monday. So yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for taking time out of your day to talk to us.
No worries. Take care. I've loved every minute of it.
Thank you, man. Best of luck, and we'll definitely still keep in touch.
Appreciate it. Best of luck to you guys as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
All right.